Thank you very much, Program Director, and apologies for the technical glitches that we had this morning. Let me therefore adopt the protocol that has already been established and recognized duly the presence of the First Lady, Dr. Motsepe, and also the entire leadership at the University of Cape Town and the Vice Chancellor and all staff and all the distinguished guests that are online. On behalf of UNICEF, I would like to thank the Children's Institute for inviting me to talk today and also for the ongoing partnership that we continue to enjoy with you. Since 2019, I have had the privilege of attending the launch of the ChildGauge, a flagship report that is valued by many. UNICEF is proud to be associated yet again with the 2020 report, which, as my colleague Dr. Naledi just said, is a flagship report and really gives us rich information on the situation of children. We are focusing on food and nutrition security, a topical issue all around the globe. We meet at unprecedented times, unprecedented moment. COVID is having huge disruptions. We have felt this, we have seen this, we are living a disrupted life. And all over the world, COVID-19 is threatening to reverse the hard-earned gains that we made on many fronts, including nutrition. But as has already been acknowledged by previous speakers, even before the onset of COVID, South Africa was already experiencing the triple burden of malnutrition. So the undernutrition, the obesity, the micronutrient deficiencies were real even before COVID. So what COVID has done is to simply magnify and amplify the vulnerabilities which already existed. And as we all know, the statistics are concerning. 27% of children are stunted. And although this is lower than the rate in other African countries in the sub-region, it is still high by international benchmarks. Sadly for these children, they might not live to realize their full growth and developmental potential because of the irreversible physical and cognitive damage that is caused by persistent nutritional deprivations. The COVID-19 pandemic and the extraordinary measures that followed it revealed the ugly reality of the stark divide between those who have access to adequate, nutritious and affordable diets and those who do not. This was ably articulated by Dr. Naledi just a few minutes ago. Indeed, at the height of the lockdown in 2020, we all witnessed the long queues of desperate families waiting to receive the much needed food parcels. The closure of schools also disrupted school feeding programs, which are a vital safety net for millions of children in South Africa. Globally, COVID-19 is expected to increase the risk of all forms of malnutrition, and this also holds true for South Africa. That is why the 2020 South Africa ChildGauge report is so important, because our response to COVID pandemic must catalyze accelerated progress, narrow inequalities, which we all are familiar with, so that no child is left behind. So tackling poverty and inequality in South Africa is now an urgent issue, now more urgent than ever before. The ChildGauge is therefore a vital advocacy tool and an urgent call to action. There are a few opportunities that we have, and I would like to highlight this. The first opportunity is the progressive constitution that South Africa has, which clearly articulates children's right to basic nutrition. So that is the starting point, the political commitment that is enunciated in the Constitution. South Africa has also committed itself to the 2025 World Health Assembly global targets for addressing malnutrition. We also know that the country is in fact on track to meet some of those targets. But what is important now is we need accelerated actions to reduce the prevalence of child stunting and other forms of malnutrition. Breastfeeding. This is a huge opportunity. If we can increase the breastfeeding rate in South Africa from the current 32% to the World Health Organization global target of 50%, we stand a chance to improve the nutritional status of children and to give them a healthy foundation. Another aspect, which is an opportunity, is the coming together, working together, concerted efforts by everybody. No single sector, no government, no matter how strong and committed, or business sector can solve the problem of malnutrition. We need to do this together. It's also important for us to know that failure to accelerate our efforts in addressing malnutrition is too costly. It is too costly for the children, it's too costly for the families, it is too costly for the country. So 9 years away from the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, it is now time for renewed action to end child malnutrition in all its forms everywhere. It is against this background that UNICEF launched a nutrition strategy which covers the period 2020 to 2030. And in this nutrition strategy, we are proposing a number of things. For today, I'll focus just on the systems approach, which is a central piece of the nutrition strategy. And it argues that by activating 5 systems, namely food, health, water and sanitation, education, and protection, these are the systems that have the greatest potential to deliver nutritious diets, essential nutrition services, and positive nutrition practices for children, adolescents, and their families. So our vision, which I'm sure you share, is of a South Africa and a world where all children, adolescents, and women realize their right to nutrition. I am pleased to note that the 2020 ChildGauge report actually adopts this systems approach. We must therefore work together to address malnutrition in all its forms, because collectively we can end this slow violence of child malnutrition. Let me conclude by reaffirming UNICEF support to all your efforts in addressing the violence, slow violence of child malnutrition. We stand ready to work with you.